Hi, everybody. I wanted to bring a little short message to you because this is something that the Lord had dealt with me some years ago. It comes out of the book of James, chapter 1, verses 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to read it to you real quick. It says, "Consider it nothing but joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you fall into various trials. Be assured that the testing of your faith through experience produces endurance, leading to spiritual maturity and inner peace. And let endurance have its perfect result and do a thorough work, so that you may be perfect and completely developed in your faith, lacking nothing." I remember going through a really difficult time at one particular season of my life, and the Lord brought me to this scripture. In fact, I remember complaining. Has anyone complained before? And I said, "Lord, I just feel like Jesus on the cross. Like, help me, God. I can't take this anymore." And the Lord said, "You remember Paul?" I said, "Yes, Lord, I remember." So he took me to the scripture where Paul talks about his many sufferings. I said, "Yes, Lord, that's exactly right. That's how I feel right now." He said, he said, "Beloved, it's not going to get any better, but you're going to have to learn to trust me in the middle of everything." So he took me to the scripture in James that I just read to you. And he said this really important thing to me. He said, "Jackie, a test is not a test to see if you're going to pass or fail. A test is to see if I, the Lord, can promote you." I thought, wow, Lord, that's amazing. So I wrote that down and I've never forgotten it since. So some of the ways, what do you think? How can God promote you? What do you think? I'll give you some of the things that I've written down here. Well, number one is our perception. How do we perceive things that happen to us? Do we take them as setbacks, or do we look at them as opportunities? Now, I'll tell you something. Since the Lord told me that about a test is not a test to see if you can pass or fail, but it is to see if he can promote you, I began to look at all of the things that happened to me as opportunities and not as setbacks, not as situations that the enemy is purposefully coming against me. Now, I do know that the enemy does come against us, but we have to look at them in a specific way. So that was the first thing. How do we perceive that? Number two, we have to know that God works all things together for good. Romans 8:28. And we have to really believe that no matter what things come our way, even if it's not our fault, we have to remember that God works it all for good. Number three, that we learn through our experience patience. That is a really, really important word. The Greek word is hypomone. And that is our ability to endure things, to endure the hard things, trusting in God's nature. That's what we learn when we endure things through patience. We learn who God is in the midst of it. He reveals his nature. He reveals his character. He reveals aspects of who he is specifically so that we can hold on to that and apply that to our situation. And number four, we learn not to become bitter about our circumstances in life, not to become bitter at people, or even God himself, blaming him for a situation or for things not turning out the way that perhaps we had hoped or prayed for. You have to remember that God has a plan and an agenda for our lives. And sometimes it's not in line with perhaps the way we had hoped. But we have to release that to him, knowing and trusting him in every circumstances of our lives. So remember, as I leave you, a test is not a test to see if you're going to pass or fail, but a test comes to see if the Lord can promote you. Love you.